Keep it hood for you. Won't need another. This one here really do it for you. Baby, look at yeah, baby, I'm in if it come down to that, let me show you how to prove
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Educate and Motivate, where we like to educate and motivate. And thanks for y'all tuning in tonight. Um, hey, I'd like to first introduce the panel here, where we always have my man G for God, I like to say, or Flex, whatever say. There you go, there you go.
Flex Arcana.
That's a good one, Angie. And also we got Angie, aka Ladybug, on the panel tonight. She coming in. She actually was instrumental in getting our guests on from Belize tonight. That's gonna kind of educate y'all and give y'all some game on living abroad. So um we want to just ask our guests right now to go ahead and introduce themselves to the audience and let them know who you are.
I'm Steve. This is my wife, Destiny.
I'm Destiny. And like they said, we're in Belize, living a life.
All right. Flex. So basically what we're doing tonight, guys, Educate Motivate is running us a 2-part series, maybe 3-part series, as far as what life is like in Belize and how we are educating and motivating you to take that step if you've ever thought about living abroad. And what we'll also bring with this series is what it takes, how you can do it, and basically, what are the steps that I need to take? Is it feasible? Is it doable? Is it financially going to work for me? So this is the first half. The first half, we're going to really talk about the expat life. And then the second half, we're going to talk more about real estate. Go ahead.
Yeah. And even before we even get into all that, I was just thinking, like, why would anyone want to leave the great U.S. and even move to Belize? So that's something that we'll be able to touch on too. I got my thoughts, from political reasons to just experiencing something different. There's a number of reasons, but I think that's for me most important. So just looking forward to that.
Before we do that, make sure you guys go out, like, comment, subscribe, join our page. Make sure you tune in for all our shows, Educate, Motivate, Love and Relationships. I said what I said. More importantly, Greenwood, which is always bringing you most important topics that are happening now. And we want to thank Mogul Media for reaching out to us and making this collaboration happen. Thank you, Malira. Thank you, The Culture. The Culture is one of our great podcasts. So we have so many podcasts to offer. We will never forget what all our podcasts bring to the table and how we are helping our communities in our backyard. And stay tuned for Terrence's Credit Score to 800 series. So I'm not at 800 yet. I've been close, but then something had happened.
Yes, she is.
But
she just y'all.
So I'll kick it back to Terrence and let him open up with the questions for our wonderful guest today.
Good deal. Well, thanks for the introduction, everyone. Steve and Destiny, we appreciate y'all taking the time.
Hey, T. Will,
come on the show.
Hey, T. Will, so your sound is messing up. We can go ahead and get back out and back in, and we'll go ahead and let Destiny and Steve just go ahead while he's working on the sound. Just go ahead and just tell us why. What would make you want to live abroad?
Why not? Well, honestly, we were kind of looking to get away from the hustle and bustle. I mean, we had the good job, but the good job and the good paycheck, those 6 figures, they came with headaches and they came with being on the phone, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to 6, 7 o'clock at night all the time. And that's not what we want. We wanted to be able to just kind of relax and get back to us, as well as explore. That was we just. I mean, you can ask anybody. Me, I'd be at work looking like people like this all day. Like, what are you doing here? So, when we said, hey, this is something we want to do, it was like, yeah, let's do it. It wasn't oh, should we really do it? And then, kind of like with everything else going on in the States, is it really safe for us there and for my family there? We lived in a good neighborhood, but that good neighborhood came with things that you wouldn't expect there. So what's so great about staying in the States? Is it really benefiting me to work until I'm in my 80s, 70s, 80s and not enjoy life afterwards? We want to enjoy while we're young.
I get
Wow.
So it sounds like it didn't take a lot of convincing, Steve. Would you agree with that?
Oh, no, not at all. Actually, I was the one that came up with the idea. And then we did the research. And she's the one that discovered that Belize's national language is English. And that was it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So that was
Yes.
news to me.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking Belize, they speak in Spanish, some variation of Spanish, but their national language is English.
And
Yes.
that's how it went. He said he wanted Central or South America. I got on my little keyboard and I was like, oh, Belize speaks English. That's where we're going. That's
No
what it
strings
was.
about it. Just, hey, they speak English. Let's go.
And that was
Yeah.
it.
Wow. That's so how so you said so Destiny, you said with you living in America with all the things going on, and we can go on and on about the list of things that go on in America, but what are some of the difference that you notice as far as living in the US and living in Belize that are just probably people got a stigma on that they think when you go outside of the US you're going to see versus what you see in the US? What can you compare, should I say, to living in Belize than the US is totally different than what people would think?
Honestly, I mean, I think everybody, when they're like, oh, you're moving to Belize, is it safe? I feel safer here than I've ever felt in the States. I'll say that. And I also kind of feel that people generally here look out for each other. Just our experience with buying a car. We were having issues getting the money transferred from our bank to the guy that was selling a car. This dude had already put the title in our name. And he's like, oh, no, you'll get it. I was like, Leo, you don't know us. I was recommended from somebody I met on Facebook, so she don't know me either. And he's like, oh, whenever. That wouldn't happen in the States.
So you're saying the locals are really trusting. Do you think they treat you guys kindly?
I think they treat us kindly, but I also think we recognize that we come here with this kind of privilege that other people may not have. That being said, I think that we treat the locals that we meet and everybody else with the same respect. We don't sit on a high horse, so we don't belittle them. We don't think we're above them, which some expats do come here and they do that. They bring their sense of entitlement with them, but we hang out and we just have a good time.
That's weird because you're thinking that you move into another country to immerse yourself in their culture, but you're saying some expats come there with this privileged mindset. That's crazy to me. Like, why would you go there with that? Maybe that's why there was nothing back in the U.S. Let me go flex on some people there. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. We see that a lot. It's like, but you also see the people who have come here and move here and live amongst other people and have like really gotten to be part of their community. And, we've got them Facebook warriors and stuff, and they're quick to jump on somebody and tell, people in America love to say, well, if you don't like it here, move, right? Well, they don't like it, flip it on them here and say, well, if you don't like it in Belize, go back where you came from, because that's a reminder. You don't have to be here.
We're guests.
We're guests in this country. Act accordingly.
Right.
But I would say in my mind, though, it comes with a different kind of, the context is different for someone in Belize to say that, because I don't think it's loaded with the racism or the discrimination. Is that safe to say?
I mean, I think it would be safe to say, but again, it's one of those. So I don't think they mean, yeah, like you said, it's not that racist undertone underneath, but it is just a reminder. You don't have to be here. You know, you came here, you want to live large and on your American dollars, you know, in a third world country, but you want the country to conform to you.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Will, I know you were trying to get your question.
Well, I was going to ask, she mentioned about when they had to transfer. That was going into my next question about transferring money. How safe is the banking system there? Because, of course, when you go abroad, I know I have, me personally, you go abroad and then you use your credit card or something, you get back to the States, and now you got additional charges, like you've been, somebody done scam your account or stuff like that. So have y'all experienced any of that? And how
So,
safe
I
is
mean,
it?
well, in the year we've been here, we've only had one problem with the ATM.
Yep.
And it was one of those where the ATM didn't give him his money, but he was able to work it out between the bank here and the bank and his bank back in the States. We don't have a Belize bank account here, mainly because it's kind of hard. We're not residents just yet. We're still going through the residency process. So it's a little bit harder for us to get a bank account. You need like your social security card and, everything. You need your 5th grade and kindergarten, report cards to get a bank account if you're not a resident here. So when we were in the bank, working out the issues with his ATM, we did ask about that. Asked, hey, can we get a bank account? And the bank person was the one who recommended that we wait until we get our residency because it's so much easier once you get your residency as far as the documents that's required to get a bank account. But for now, we use our ATM. We'll just take it out. It does come with some international fees. So, but it's good to have cash on hand here for the simple fact that some places don't accept cards. And then the other thing is if the internet's out, even if they do accept cards, they can't accept cards. So we tend to pull cash out and keep that for the places that like our vegetable stands and stuff like that, fruit and vegetables.
So how much cash can you bring in with you? And audience, please keep asking questions. We're going to get to them, I promise you.
Yeah.
How much cash are you allowed to bring in?
I believe it's up to 10,000 US that you can bring in here without any kind of penalties. So last time we were in the States, we did kind of let me go ahead and get this money out without these international fees and then bring it back.
And so how does your visa work? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. What was you say that again, Angie?
How does your visa work as far as every 30 months? I did understand that you have to renew and that costs a fee. So let's say I wanted to come there and I wanted to live and I haven't yet became a citizen. And so how do I have to renew every month? Do I have to renew every 2 weeks? How does that work?
Immigration?
So immigration is every 30 days you have to renew your stamp, and that is currently 100 US per person. Some of the offices, so the office we go to, we usually ask for 3 months at a time, just so we're still paying. So we're paying $900 for 3 months for the 3 of us, us as well as our daughter. But that also saves us the hour-long trip to get to immigration, so it balances out. And then you'll do that until you get your residency. And then after you've had permanent residency for 5 years, and there's some other stipulations in there, you can apply for citizenship. But so for us applying for residency, we just applied last month. We had to stay in country for a year, and we couldn't be out of the country for more than 14 days total in that year.
Right.
Just to be able to apply for residency.
Okay.
That's some real considerations because a person like me who's big on traveling and to see family, at 14 days, you can eat that up pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. We would tell people, we're stuck in paradise out here because we do like to go. So, that 14 days. And, we also had to go back to the States for our medical appointments with the VA. So that was kind of pushing that 14-day for us. But we made it.
So, wow.
I think so at 13, but we made it.
So y'all have to still come back over to the U.S. to go to y'all medical appointment?
We don't have to, but it's just easier for us because that way our doctors that we've been seeing can continue to follow us. They do have medical here, but it's not going to be what you get in the States. You have a lot of expats though. Like I said, we go back because, military, so to get seen at the VA and things like that. But you do have a lot of expats that'll go up to Mexico because they have care. But also, I mean, we've gotten things here, like, for example, we didn't get Toradol, but, things like Toradol that in the States, you need a prescription, got to jump through hoops for. You can go to the pharmacy and say, can I get Toradol? I need, 30-day supply, and just pay cash for it. And that cash is what your copay would have been in the States, but you're paying that for your total.
So that kind of leads us into this question from Nikki. Appreciate the audience for sending your questions in. But Nikki is saying, is healthcare and medical reasonable? The cost?
The cost, like I said, a lot of people pay out of pocket. It's very reasonable, but we don't have the big facilities that you're going to be used to in the States. So if you've got some serious medical issues, then you're going to probably want to, work that into your travel back and forth to the States or to Mexico into your funds, your budget. Where we are, we're in Placencia. We've got a public clinic here that's only open Monday through Friday, and then we've got an on-call private doctor who we've actually been seen at both of them, and we've had good experience with them. To see the private doctor is what, $25 for our whole visit, and then he'll give us our script of whatever we need. They are a 24-hour hospital in Dangria, which is about an hour away. There are a couple of those in the country as well. So, and there are other private hospitals, but those private hospitals are one of those where you walk in and you have to show that you have the funds up front. So that's something else to consider. And even for us, if we want to use our TRICARE, we would still need to pay up front and then go back and file the claim with our insurance.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so TRICARE works in other countries.
It does. And like I said, so we've got TRICARE Latin and Central America. So they call it TLAC is what is considered. So it is possible, but for us, we haven't filed a claim because I think the hassle of filing a claim, it take more time than just paying my $25.
Get it.
Wow. Well, before I forget, let me go back to this one question you said about the $10,000 traveling. Does that ring any bells to immigration when you go through and they see a wad of cash? They think y'all might be doing something illegal. Or, has that ever happened to y'all or what?
Well, you do have to claim it when you come in.
Well, the 10,000, I don't think you have to claim.
And if it's over 10,000,
over 10,000, you have to claim.
Okay.
if it's under, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And y'all
probably pretty
never had.
common though, that people want to come in with cash, right? To keep cash on hand. I would imagine that's more common than not.
Well, it is,
So-
especially because, they take US dollars here. And the conversion is 1 to 2. So is, 2 Belize dollars equals 1 US dollar. So it's really easy to convert, and you can spend your US dollars here just like you spend your Belize dollars.
So I'm giving me a Bentley for $250,000. Just kidding.
How I'm curious, how long, if you just living just like a normal regular life over there, how long does $10,000 stretch?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, it can stretch a while. You've got about $100 every month though for your visa, but I think the cost of living here is a lot cheaper. We can go out and spend $60 for the 3 of us to eat, and that's with drinks and desserts for all of us.
Wow.
So I think if you're just like living and you're not out there living like you're on vacation, that $10,000 goes a long way.
What does the gas situation look like for you guys?
Expensive.
Listen, we'll take your gas prices right now.
Oh wow. Wow.
Okay.
$7 a gallon.
Yeah, we're around $7 a gallon right now.
And do you get similar mileage? The efficiency of the fuel?
You don't go far though, do you?
Yeah.
We don't go far on a day to day, but we like to see. We live here, right? So we want to see the country. So once or twice a month, we do drive 2-3 hours to go on a hike or to go somewhere we haven't been, go get lost somewhere. But
And this is a very soft question. So how much would a tank of gas last you? It's a soft question. How much would how far would a tank of gas?
Yeah, it usually lasts us about 3 weeks.
Oh wow.
Okay. And so do
What?
you still encounter large golf cart communities along with?
Your golf cart communities are going to be more so on your keys. So like out in San Pedro, Ambergris Key and Key Calker. Here, you're going to see more people with cars than golf carts. Golf carts are actually kind of hard to get here.
In the village, there's more golf carts.
Yeah, and then so we live, we're in Placencia, but we're on the outside of the village. And then you've got your people that live in the village, and they're going to be either people who ride their bikes every day, or they use their golf carts just to go from one end to the other end. Placencia is a peninsula. A lot of people think we're on an island, but we're part of the mainland.
Right.
It's maybe a mile wide, and and then it's only a couple of miles long as well. So you can really walk the village. So if you live in the village, there's no reason to be on your golf cart or your bikes, unless you just want to kind of speed up a little bit of time.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's good exercise.
Yeah.
You gotta-
We got a question here from Nick. He says, weather. Do they have a hurricane season? And if so, do you travel back to the States during the weather season?
So, hurricane, what you guys would consider hurricane season, we consider our rainy season here, which is what we're in right now. And I'm from, I grew up outside of New Orleans. I'm not going nowhere. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody said, okay, look, we got a category 5 headed our way, then, we'd probably be hopping on a plane somewhere and getting up out of here. But for the most part, no, we stay here. Most people stay here. Belize has been pretty lucky as far as hurricanes go.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Got another one here that says, what was the it factor that made you execute your plan to paradise? So I know you kind of touched on it, but is there any one thing that was like, you know what? Let's pack up and go.
And then tell us how you did it. And tell me what you did. Did you sell your car? Did you sell your house? Did you sell your dogs? Like, I'm out. I don't want to bring anything. And how did you do that with a very, bright and rambunctious, preteen,
So,
Made sure she was on
Sorry,
board.
Maya.
well, you got the side eye with the dog comment. But for us, it was one of those things where, a couple of years ago, things were just really out of hand. And when we first said that we were going to move to Belize, it was 12 years ago. We were both still in the military. But we had been, at that point, we said, okay, well, if we move, we either need to do it when our kids are young, or we have to wait until they're out, until they graduate. I guess, we're fortunate to have a daughter who's always got her bags packed, ready to go somewhere. So, when we approached her and asked her, well, how did she feel about moving to Belize? She was on board. So we said, okay, let's do it.
And then we did the school first.
Yeah. So we put her in an online school just so that, because we knew she would do online school when she got here. And that way it wouldn't be too many different things transitioning at once. So we had her do her online program, which worked out because that's also at the peak of COVID. And, so it just kind of all ran into each other. And then, we sold everything. It was no, what if this doesn't work? If this doesn't work, we sold everything. We didn't ship anything. We came here with 6 suitcases and a dog.
Yay.
And we said, well, if we didn't like it here, we'll just pack our suitcases and go to another country. Simple as that. It wasn't let's go back and forth, because I think sometimes when people go back and forth, they talk themselves out of it, or they allow other people to talk them out of it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you mind elaborating system there? Is it? I know you said your daughter went online. Is there a public school system or private school system? What does that look like there?
Right. So they do have both. They've got public and private. Public school, though, only goes to age 12. So your secondary education, your high school is not free. A lot of people here don't have the high school education because you have to pay for that. And at that point, they're either going out to work, because they need to support themselves or their family, or just because some families don't see the point in that higher education if they're not going to be doing much with it. When you think about it, a lot of your locals, their primary means of finance is hospitality. So do you really invest that money into a high school diploma?
Wow. That's
So
interesting.
we don't have a high school where we are. So we've actually got a lot of expat families now that their kids are hitting 12 and 13. And there's no school for that after that. So they're sitting up here now trying to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do? The closest high school is in Independence, which is an hour drive, or a ferry ride on the Hokey Pokey is what they call it. It's the boat we would take to go to immigration.
Hokey pokey.
Hokey Pokey. And it's not a fancy boat, but it gets you where you need to go.
Right.
And that was another reason why, because we went back and forth with whether or not we should put her in one of the schools here, but why would I pull her out for 1 year just to turn around and put her back in that school? Because after 1 year, there's no more school for her to go to here.
Right.
So would you continue online? Maybe can you go to an American school online, or is that not an option?
So they can, they can enroll in them, but of course that's gonna cost money.
Right.
So our daughter's school, she does K-12 online, and it's one that she can go through up through high school. It works for us because we like to travel, we like to go. So if I want to go and see a ruin on a Wednesday, I can go see the ruins on Wednesday, and then just adjust her school schedule.
That's good. I'm glad you mentioned the ruins. Steve, tell us about some of the excursions that actually kind of interest you about, understanding, what a place like Belize brings to the table. What keeps you guys busy, while you live and grow in paradise.
I think the biggest thing we did was we all got scuba certified, and so we try to do that like once a month. And we also joined a dive club, and they have a meeting once a month, so we get the chance to interact with other people.
You're always trying to get me to get my diver's license.
Yes, we're working on you.
I'm trying to do it.
So we do that, and then we also joined a hiking page. It's called the Weekend Wanderers on Facebook page, and they do hikes off the beaten path. It's not the touristy hikes. It's somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. They find a tour guide, and we do a lot of hikes with them as well, and it keeps us busy.
So is scuba like the golfing here in the States?
There's only one golf club here. It's about 2 hours away from where we're at. I have not golfed. I sold my golf clubs before I came here, so I wasn't really missing it.
So diving is like the golfing of Belize. So basically,
I'd say so.
Yeah.
We've got the second biggest barrier reef here. So, and and restoring the reef is a big effort here as well. So yes, diving, snorkeling, really big initiatives out here.
And there's 450 islands right off the coast of Belize, and we've only been to like 6 of them, so we got plenty more to go see.
Wow.
That's
That's amazing.
overwhelming.
Wow.
What about the job market there? How's that? I mean, I know you mentioned, so I assume like if you don't go to school around is when kids start working about what 13, 14, 15, because I assume there's no labor laws or anything like that over there.
I mean, honestly, you'll see them as young as our daughter, even younger, walking around selling things with their parents. Like the Mayans, for example, your Mayan ladies, they'll come with their baskets and the things that they've done, and they're selling those things. Or you've got them selling coconut water and sea grapes and fruits and vegetables at the stands, even at a young age. As far as your expats, though, and that's something else for people to consider here, if they don't have a passive income coming in. If you don't have residency here, you can't work unless you have a worker's permit. And that's something that you would have to apply for. And I believe it's like $2,000 for that, just, your application fee for it. So that's something else to think about. You can't work or we can't even volunteer, because that would be perceived as taking money away from the locals. So, for example, so he's got his personal trainer. He can't go and say, hey, I'll train you because Well, there's a local gym here that you're taking money from them. So even though we may mean well by saying, let me volunteer my time, you can't do that.
Are there any programs that offer incentives for Americans that come live Belize? Sort of like they do in Bali. Bali has an incentive program where you can come and live in Bali, and it skirts you on, I guess, some taxes. And, as long as your work is still U.S. based, as long as it's not based in Belize. Are there any programs or incentives like
So
that?
not that I'm aware of. I know that, they were talking about kind of doing one of those virtual type visas, but I don't think anything ever came of it. They do have the QRP, the Qualified Retirement Program. But that's another one that you're not actually working. You're just kind of sharing your money. You've got to be a certain 45 years old and be putting $2,000 into a Belize bank account every month. But that would be kind of the closest thing, other than, again, finding an employer to sponsor you. But that, again, if somebody is sponsoring you here as an employee, they've got to also justify and show how whatever your skill is, they couldn't find anybody in Belize that could perform that task.
Oh
Gotcha.
wow. Okay.
That's good
So
to know.
yeah, and this real quick before we go to the next question. This I wasn't going to ask you this, but y'all kind of gave us the thought.
Window.
Yeah, y'all don't work,
Uh-oh.
right?
Correct. We don't work.
Okay. So that means, and I'm asking that thinking about affordability. You're ex-military, so whatever your income there that you're getting from there supports your life there, and you're having abundance or have plenty.
So, I mean, it supports our life. We're able to still save money monthly. I mean, well, he saves money monthly. Um, we're still able to go out, do our excursions, and, we're not penny pinching, so we live comfortably off of our what we have coming in from the military.
And you did sell a home. You sold your home, correct?
Correct.
Before. Mm,
Yeah. So
that's
Cool.
had a question down here about property taxes. Did I think I'm missing it?
Yeah, it was. What? So,
okay.
what are the property taxes like?
Do you
Because
guys?
that was the question.
So that I can't. I know I've got a friend, and she was mentioning that her property tax is around $10. But I don't
What?
want to misspeak on that. We don't own, so that you guys will have to tune in to the next guest to get that answer.
Okay,
So
Um,
yes,
gotcha.
there are a couple of. It says, can you purchase land, property, or is it like Mexico where you can only purchase structure and not land? So
no,
Nikki
here
and
you can own your land.
say that again.
Here you can own the land, and that is one of the things where people, because a lot of people kind of go back and forth between Belize and Mexico, and that's one of the things that the ones that settle here, they settle because they can actually own the land here. So once you buy that land, that is your land.
And
I
and
know.
go ahead. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No,
No, no,
go.
no, no, no. Go ahead, Angie. I'm gonna finish after you do, because this
No,
ain't.
no. I just wanted to say this. My mom recently purchased in Belize. She actually purchased in one of the keys that Destiny was speaking of. So a part of Educate Motivate is, again, it's a two-part series. So we will be bringing on an extra guest to explain some of your questions about purchasing land, what that looks like, and one of the guests that we bring on, Steve and Destiny, have actually linked us into, and they're going to talk about, they have a boutique hotel, and they'll talk
Mm,
about what that looks like. They'll also tell us how we can find them and support their business as well. So go on, Terrence. I'm sorry, I didn't
good
cut you off.
deal. No, no, no. You good. Hey, I wanted to. Do y'all know of Jay Prince, the one that used to own Rap a Lot Records and stuff? Have y'all heard of him? Because he
Yes,
just purchased like uh 1,000 acres over there in Belize, in the
well,
mountains, and
Remax, he's doing it because he understands what's
oh yeah.
happening. If you go to some of the islands like Ambergris Key, where my mom purchased her place, you see Remax buying blocks of land everywhere. So yeah, I mean, the time is probably now. I think at a few years back, certain islands weren't as developed as they are now. So now you see a mass influctuation of people from the United States that are actually taking advantage of that property there. And then what's going to happen is, as it becomes more of a tourist destination, even when I was in Belize with my mother, I found that I saw on Ambergris Key, which is a key outside of Placentia, they live outside. They live, you have to flight over to these keys, or you can take an express taxi. You find a lot of your celebrities, and people are starting to catch on to the fact that this is an English speaking place and you can have a little bit more mobility there. So I think that as it starts to catch on, you'll find more people wanting to invest, even on the smaller scale.
Yeah. So here's another question kind of geared around the work. I know you said that there's a lot that goes into if you're trying to work yourself, but what about someone that wants to start a business and then employ some of the locals? Do you see that happening at all?
You do, and that is the thing. If you own a business here, you would need to employ the locals.
Okay.
But yes, you can definitely own a business. We've got friends who own, a lot of people get into the boutique hotels and the Airbnbs, but we do have friends who own gift shops. We've got friends who, we've got one of our friends who she used to run a daycare here, but the daycare ended up, she ended up closing that. But so there are other things, but yes, you would need to employ the locals because once again, you need to show them that if I'm going to be employing somebody that's not a local, why, what makes this person more qualified than the local to, do your housekeeping or whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah, makes sense.
What are some of the other, I would say, profitable business have you seen besides outside of the ones you just named?
I definitely think tourism is also a big thing. So still kind of your hospitality, but still your tourism. We've got a friend who does a catamaran and he does the sailing trips, but he does trips that aren't necessarily to the popular type key. So he's going to take you elsewhere. So you're not going to be surrounded by all the tourists. It might not be as flashy. You've got your car rentals and golf cart rentals, because again, tourism is what people make their money off of here. So you've always got somebody coming in, and if they want to go explore, because Belize is very drivable. You just put it in Google Maps and you just go. We've got a couple of main roads and that's it. I can drive without getting lost. I don't drive, but I could if I wanted to. So you've got your rentals, you've got your tour guides that are going to be doing you on the cave tours or the waterfall hikes, the Mayan ruins. All of those things are going to make money for people.
That's good. That's good.
Cool.
Okay. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break real quick. Then after come back, hey, we appreciate everybody sending the questions in. Hey, shout out to my boy George. He's on checking us out. So, hey, keep the questions coming. We're gonna go to quick commercial break. We gotta pay the bills, and we'll be right back.
Hey, baby.
M Green Enterprises LLC, the home of Malira Green, your confidence coach. Malira Green is a licensed clinical social worker who serves as a psychotherapist, Reiki master, and transformative speaker. She is striving to provide the world with preventative services to lower the number of individuals in mental health facilities while helping people grow from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Malira is ready to help the humans of the world find their best selves. Please be sure to check out www.maliratransforms.com because Malira is ready to transform with you.
I love Malira. Malira runs a podcast called The Culture. You guys always tune into The Culture. She speaks heavily on the impact of mental health, how you can work through your issues, but always with her motivating, with her motivation, it's always amazing. Hi, Des. How you doing? Maya. That's Maya. Hi, Maya. You guys, that was actually Destiny, and in the background is her daughter, Maya, which we'll bring on closer to the end of the discussion, just to let us know what it's like to be a child and to be a young adult in Belize.
Yeah.
So we want to hit on a few more questions. Another question I had, and you guys kind of touched on it briefly. Explain to us what a day in paradise for you looks like. How do you wake up in the mornings? What do your mornings look like? Go on, Steve. Tell us, Steve.
Well, we sleep in usually until the sun comes up around 6 or maybe a little bit earlier. And then we spend like the next couple hours debating on what time we're going to work out. And then we talk about what we're going to eat for that day. And then we work out. And then that's pretty much it. And we relax.
Wow.
We don't really do too much day to day.
you know.
So what's
And you know,
behind you guys? I see open space and air, and it looks like there's something big and interesting back there. Is there any way you can kind of show the people that are watching today what your surroundings look like? What are you
yeah.
surrounded by currently?
So we're on the marina.
Okay.
And so let me just lift this up, maybe, hopefully, if I don't jack it up. Can you guys see?
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh,
Oh, that's
beautiful.
nice.
Wow.
so that's
Beautiful.
just where we are. We're on the lagoon side. So we're not on the beach side, so that's not actually the ocean.
Okay.
That's 200 yards
But
away.
yeah, but the ocean's just right across the road, 200 yards away.
Okay, so I have another question. While I was there, I was inundated with critters, and not necessarily critters, but
No,
they
see.
were
What
like
kind of critters, Angie?
all types of critters. And I've traveled a lot, but I'm gonna say I probably have never experienced more wildlife, I guess I could say, than any place I've ever been, and it was just weird birds I've never seen before. I was like, what type of bird is that? I've never seen a bird like walking and then it'll just hop in the tree. Like I was like, wait, it's just two legs. And you just like, it's some really interesting animals. I swear, if you're living, especially in the South, and you've ever seen deer cross the road in groups, that is literally how iguanas cross the road in Belize. There's like a family of 12, and you're sitting in your golf cart like, okay, there's no red lights, but yes, you take the road. Tell us what the wildlife is like there.
Well, I
What
mean,
should
I
we
know
be
the
wary of when we come?
bird.
You know, some people that be like, it's too many bugs for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of bugs. Well,
Get used to
depending
it.
on where you are and how the wind is blowing, there's a lot of bugs.
Okay.
So you just find, look, don't waste your money on that off stuff. Off is not going to work here. You need to get the locals and get the stuff that they mixing up in their kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a Maya just reminded me. So there's a jackass bitters is something that works really good. You can actually have
Repeat
it
that again.
in
Repeat that again.
called jackass bitters. Just
Okay.
yes.
Wow.
And you can put it in. That is the official name. And that's but
That is
you
the
can get it in tea form and start. So you know how people tell you, oh, go sip some apple cider vinegar and get it in your system. That way the mosquitoes don't like your blood. So same kind of concept. You can do
Okay.
that. Or we've got a lot of so your citronellas and your oils like that. We use a lot of natural sprays here that really help with our bugs. Look, I don't have no bug bites on me right now. But yeah, when we first got here, it was brutal.
Really?
It was brutal till we found what was gonna work. And then they've got these little no-see-ums that you don't see, and then all of a sudden you just look at your ankles and they just gonna lit you up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so here's another off question. Do y'all miss the cold at all?
No.
So y'all not scared?
Listen, it was 69 degrees here, and I pulled out my heated blanket and my hoodie. So
Wow.
no, I don't miss the cold. 69 was cold enough for me.
Hey, Dr. Hey, close the door. I'm sure the mosquitoes are the size of people.
Look, I'm on it, cuz I'm on it.
Man. Here's another question from George. You said outside of gas prices, how has
How is
inflation
inflation
impacted Belize?
I haven't noticed anything yet.
That's a great
Yeah,
question.
Honestly, I think the gas prices is the only thing that we've seen it in. I mean, that
Food has gone up.
food, only if you're trying to eat your American Doritos and your Ben and Jerry's.
Interesting. So
but-
you need to purchase like the locals to stay affordable.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, we actually like a lot of the, like something as simple as crackers, something as simple as some saltine crackers. We prefer the Belizean crackers over the American stuff. You can go buy a bag of Doritos, or you can buy whatever it is their brand is called. I don't know the name of it, but it tastes just the same, and it's 3/4 of the price.
So what is Belize known for? Are they known for their coffee? Are they known for their spices? Like as far as products, what products do you think are major for Belize? I know that when I was there, I bought a lot of spices and coffee. But I did, like you said, I enjoyed a lot of the products that were made, Belizean products. They were actually really second to none. So yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't like. Again, I don't want to speak because I don't know for sure. But Belize is still a very young country. It's only had its independence for what, 40 years or so. So I think it's still kind of finding its way.
Tourism is
You
probably
can
the
say,
same.
their rice and beans is their official, meal, but I don't know that I would say it's actually known for anything other than, like I said, your reef, conservations and things like that. Marine biology is pretty big.
I do want to say this about the money. I noticed that while I was there, even if I paid in American dollars and I got coins back, I could never spend American coins. So, or if I had American coins, American quarters and stuff like that, they're no good in Belize. The dollars are, but the coins aren't. They said that they like the kind that jingles, but they prefer the kind that folds. So they definitely don't want American coins. So I found that interesting. And I also saw that Queen Elizabeth is still on the coin.
The bills too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. She is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So here's a great question right here. We really hadn't dabbled in the politics side of it, but Mina, thanks for the question. Mina says, she's interested in how insulated you feel from American politics, or do the American tourists bring the political baggage with them?
Go ahead.
Question.
I mean, honestly, I think it's 'cause it's the same. People come here and they still bring their baggage with them. And for the most part, though, I haven't seen too many people being jerks about the politics. It's just sometimes if somebody brings it up, they're very passionate about it. But we don't even talk about politics with most of our friends. We just talk about everything else, what's going on in day in life here in Belize. So.
Right. Our thought process is if we wanted to talk about American politics, we'd still be there. So we try to surround ourselves with like-minded people who aren't going to, you're out at dinner. I don't want to sit up there and talk about the politics. I don't want to talk about how you feel about mask mandates. I don't, I want to enjoy myself. One of those, like Maya said the other day, don't kill my vibe type things. So you definitely have them that bring their beliefs here. And then that kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, where you've got a lot of people who will tell them, hey, this ain't the place for that. You don't like it. You just pack your bags and go on back. This isn't America. And at the end of the day, you left America for a reason. So why are you still in that mindset?
Yeah. So do y'all still vote? Now that even though you're living in Belize now?
We haven't
yet. Well, we're registered. So
you just put a ballot in.
So look, we'll have to cross that bridge. That one we don't know.
Right.
Hey, just keep it as we registered.
Yeah.
So,
That's it. So far as people coming from abroad and just even wanting to visit, I know everywhere you go that there's a good and bad places you should go, places you should know about, and places you really don't want to know about. Is it some of those areas there that when people visit don't go there?
Well, most people say, stay away from Belize City, or, like I told my cousin when she visited, she's like, oh, I saw Belize City. I was like, you didn't see much, don't judge Belize on Belize City. Not bad, because everybody has their good and bad parts, right? But I think, so Belize is small, but it's not small, right? So you've got to know, well, what is it that you want to do when you get to Belize? Are you a diver? Are you trying to spend all your time diving? Because, then go to Ambergris Key or something like that. Or you can come here. Do you want to be in the mountains? Are you a hiker and you want to see the jungle? Because then I'm going to tell you, hey, San Ignacio is probably where you want to be. So, there's different districts within the country and they all offer their own separate, space. Yeah. So we like where we are just because, again, we're attached to the mainland, but we've got that island vibe because we're on a peninsula. But at the same time, if we want to drive to Mexico, 4 hours we're in Mexico or 4 hours we're in Guatemala. But, we're able to go do our day hikes in San Ignacio and come back home. Or, or again, we are able to just go have a beach day. So I really think it just, and you'll see this in a lot of the expat groups when people say, hey, I want to move to Belize. Where's a good place? And everybody jumps down their throat and they're saying, well, how about you tell us A, B, and C before we recommend a place? Because it really does it like my cousin, I would never recommend that she go to San Ignacio because that's in the jungle, right? And that's gonna be them big bugs, them big mosquitoes. We want so it just really depends. If you just want to sit back and relax with other people, they would enjoy the jungle. Like my sister, she wants to hike. So when she gets here, we're gonna spend some time out there, finding new waterfalls and whatnot.
So here's my classmate Shay. Appreciate you tuning in. She says, what about the festivals? When are they and where are they exactly?
Well, so this is going to be our first year with festivals because, COVID kind of shut down everything. November, Garifuna, they celebrate their independence. So there's a big festival for them. There's also a festival in September. Don't exactly know the name. Easter's really big here. So Easter, they celebrate countrywide. So Easter is like one of the biggest holidays because remember, they're Roman Catholics really big here in Belize as well. So Easter is like just
shut down everything
and celebrate for 4 or 5 days. We've got Lobster Fest at the beginning of lobster season. So Placencia, we just celebrated that a couple of weeks ago. And Burgess Key and Key Calker celebrated it the week before us, and they actually celebrated for an entire week. Whereas here we only celebrated for the weekend.
So do they cook lobster like we do here with the garlic butter, or is it prepared differently?
They've done garlic butter. They make lobster grilled cheese sandwiches. They, lobster ceviche. So I think it just kind of depends on what restaurant you're at, because some people do the most and some people make it basic.
Do they got that mac and cheese lobster?
I know.
You know what? I'm sure somebody got some mac and cheese.
No, I've actually seen it, and let me tell you, when I was there a few months back, they said that it wasn't season. So they said if you guys are getting lobster in the U.S., it's frozen and it's not as fresh because it's currently not lobster season. And I was like, oh.
I get my
Really American. So yeah. And lobster season starts in what? November? They said November, October.
No, it just started July.
Okay, July.
Wow. And goes to when?
Okay.
I'm not sure how long it lasts. I'm not sure when it ends.
Okay. Well, I got another one. What about the local, like how is the local authorities put as far as the police, and is it safe? How is that?
I mean, you see them. Well, I mean, I've seen the local police, with a truck full of kids in the back, and then, they're just hitching a ride and then they hop out. I'll say we've never had a problem with the local police. Not to say that other people haven't. I don't think that it's kind of like I said in the beginning. I feel safer here with the police than I feel in the States with the police.
Wow. Well, that's
a
good.
lot. Yeah, so we're thinking about the crime. So I'm sure y'all don't have the gun issues there that we do. Now, what's the thing they say here? There's enough guns for everyone in America to own like 8 or something like that. Some crazy. Weapons. What is it like there?
And then tell us about cleanliness and how clean the streets are and what that looks like as opposed to other countries that aren't like U.S., like Jamaica, or what does cleanliness look like as well? That's a two-parter.
Well, I mean, I would say I think the streets here are cleaner than they were in Jamaica, St. Lucia, and other places like that. I don't know what.
That's good.
I've been to almost every country in Central America, and this is by far, I think, the cleanest.
Oh wow!
And it's one of those things. It's a third world country, and they may not have things that other people have, but I think that there's still a pride in what you have. So every morning you see people sweeping the streets. We've got this initiative that we volunteer with because they're nonprofit, so we're able to volunteer with them, called Mr. Goby and Friends, and they do beach cleanups every week. They
Wow.
do a different part of the beach or part of the lagoon. People will be out there in their with their snorkel gear sometimes. There was one point where they actually kind of paired with some of the divers, the local dive club, and they actually had the divers down there kind of cleaning up the pier itself. Because things settle. So I definitely think that they kind of take pride in being clean here.
And I know that everybody's hit with the sarcasm, and then we're going to go back to the gun laws. There's a good question in the chat. How's the sarcasm affecting you?
So, well, recently there was a new council elected, and they did really good with cleaning up our beaches as far as sargassum, being out there every day cleaning them. We were just at the beach today, and there was actually no sargassum. But that being said, a couple of days ago, there was some sargassum. But right now, it's actually not that bad. But it was kind of bad earlier this year. But like I said, I think that once they were able to kind of get into the swing of it and actually cleaning it up on a daily basis before it actually had time to sit, it made it a lot more bearable.
And they also got a new machine that actually picks it up off the beach.
Yeah.
So that getting the equipment, I think, helped out immensely as well.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. What?
Okay.
There's a question in the chat here that says, what are the local gun laws like as a resident? Are you able to possess firearms?
So as a resident, you are able to have a firearm, but it does need to go and be registered. So you actually have to take it to the police department, and have it registered with them. And you actually have to bring it in there for them to inspect it. So you are able to as a resident, but again, it's getting that residency that takes time.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, but you can walk around with your machete all day. Yeah.
So do you have a lot of gun crime there?
Not too much.
Not too much. I think there's been like 2 shootings, around here in the past year. Again, though, people will say Belize City has high crime, and then they associate the whole country with that, which I think, is just bad, and people shouldn't do that. And I don't live in Belize City. They don't have beach there for me to live, so I have no intentions of living there. So I don't want to say that it's rough, but I do think it's probably going to be rougher than like where we live and where other expats live in those tourist areas. And I tell George, I don't think they're gonna run up and get your golf cart. Just make sure you lock it when you get out. Put that chain lock on there. But I think it also goes back to don't run around being flashy, because we live in a world of haves and have-nots. So yeah, so just don't be flashy, and you respect the locals, they'll respect you.
Right.
Man,
Right,
good
right.
deal. Well, man, I think this has been an awesome podcast tonight. We really appreciate y'all for coming on and just giving the game on living abroad, because people don't know. And I think with everything that y'all provided tonight and gave to people, I think that's something that people will consider going forth. But we're gonna start wrapping it up. But before we do that, Angie, bring on some trivia questions you got. We want to hear this. So we got a couple of trivia. We got some trivia questions for y'all.
Okay. We have some
Hey.
trivia questions.
Hey,
And
let Maya come on so she could play with y'all.
Oh, Maya.
that was what I was going to
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Let me get over.
So Maya, introduce yourself to us. I've already told them your name. So just tell us about, what you like living, the most living in Belize. What do you like the most living in Belize? That's better than where you were living before.
Walking the streets.
Say that. I can walk the streets a lot, and I wouldn't have to worry about as much things that I would worry about in the States.
So you feel safe. You feel safe walking the streets as a young kid, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Parents, do you feel safer with your young child on the
Yeah,
street?
like she was saying, I mean, so again, the village, you know, she would walk from one end to the other end almost daily. And that's about a little under a mile, and she'd walk it, no problem. We pick her up, you know, and she makes us drop her off around the corner. And then, you know, she does her thing with her friends, you know, or we go and eat, you know, a lot of the dining's outside dining. So we eat with our friends and she runs off with her friends, and you're not constantly like, where's my child?
Wow.
Again, you get that village feeling here where people are looking out for the little people.
That's awesome.
Man, that's
So, how
nice.
many friends do you have, Mike?
Real friends. Okay, let's talk about real
Well,
She's
friends.
sharp. She's
Real,
sharp.
it different.
I got
Okay,
G,
Maya.
Linda. I would call Evelyn a real friend.
Okay.
Evelyn
Serenity?
and Serenity.
It's about 5, 4 or 5.
4.
So she's got 4 real friends and she's got some associates and acquaintances.
Okay, she has
Everybody
more
not
than
your
me.
friend.
Okay, so I'm gonna kick off with some of my trivia questions, and Maya, you join in if you can. Okay, so this is a quick one. Okay, so would you skydiving or roller coaster?
Roller coaster.
Roller coaster, good one, Maya. Okay, Flex, you got one? Snorkeling or diving? Because there's a difference.
Diving.
Diving.
Diving. Okay. Do you miss fast? This is more of a question. Do you miss fast food in the U.S. based off of your local fast food in Belize?
There's no.
George,
We don't have that.
Happy Meal from McDonald's.
We don't have fast food.
Yeah.
But the food here is sometimes better than the fast food back in the States.
Yeah, so we don't have fast foods here. You
And
don't
it's-
have those chains.
And it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys teaching her about finances pretty early, huh?
Man, I was about to say she has a good foundation.
Yes. Yes.
So I got one. So now that y'all are always in vacation mode there, if you have to vacation outside of Belize, would you travel somewhere where there's a 5-star hotel or a cabin in the woods?
I mean, I like when I'm paying for
Depends on the
accommodations,
price.
I still want to, you know,
Pamper yourself.
I want to pamper myself. You know, look, we don't have tubs. Like tubs are hard to come by here, so I want a place that I can go and pour me a hot bath and run me a hot. Look, you miss those. That's what I miss. I miss my tub.
It depends on what the place gives me.
Okay, what you looking for, Maya?
I'm looking for a place where I can actually sleep in cold.
So she just wants some
Air
AC
conditioning.
wherever we go.
Right.
Sleep in cold. I can't sleep in the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look.
Okay. All right. All right. I have another one.
Okay.
Go T Will.
Uh-oh. I can't hear him.
T will.
Okay.
Those are
Let me
the-
get mine. His audio's out. Okay. So, do you miss Target, Walmart, or do you prefer your local Belizean stores?
I miss Target and Walmart. Five Below.
Below. That's funny. I know that's my story. So
You
here's
miss Target, Maya?
The stores are so big compared to these ones.
Yeah.
yeah.
Listen,
Okay.
Maya, when we went back to the States, Maya went with an empty suitcase and came back with one that she had to sit on to close. So, you know.
So
Wow.
do y'all miss the holidays? You know, or the Halloween's, Christmas, and all that right there.
So, I mean, Christmas they celebrate. Here, they do kind of do Halloween just because there's so many expats here.
They're really big on Easter.
Really?
But
You-
they confuse things.
You missed that one. But, you know, so, and they have their own holidays. So we kind of are learning their holidays and kind of get into those things. So I wouldn't say we necessarily miss the holidays in the States.
No.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
And so you, as far as churches are concerned, you did say they were Catholic. I've also seen Methodists. So what do you find? Well,
I mean, I think I've seen both.
okay.
And I want to see, I thought we saw Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, I think
I think there is a hall here too.
Yep.
for Jehovah's Witness, but
Okay.
and you also have like your Mennonites.
Yeah.
Mennonite.
Really? Okay.
Methodist churches, you say Jehovah Witness churches. Any Baptist churches?
I haven't seen
Not that I've seen,
Yeah.
but not to say that they're not there.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Anybody got any more trivia for Miss Maya?
I know Flex asked the question about going, but if y'all could, is there any other places y'all want to visit similar, like another island that similar to where
That's a
you're at now?
great
What would
question.
that be?
Place I want to visit is an island.
Okay. Well, Fiji's still on my list. Greece is on our list.
Southern Italy.
Southern Italy is not an island, but kind of similar to here. So jerk or curry.
Jerk chicken.
Curry.
Jerk chicken.
So anyway, like again, we like to travel.
Chat was jerk or curry, and you guys said what?
Maya likes jerk chicken. I like curry chicken.
I'm gonna go with curry though.
Jerk.
Me and Maya can hang. I'm a jerk person too.
Jerk.
I'm a curry girl. I'm not gonna lie.
I just like that spice.
Jerk or curry?
What?
T-Will, jerk or curry?
Oh, I'm jerk. I like both of them, but I'm jerk.
Oh yeah.
Add the Jamaican spice to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey!
So when we come to Belize, y'all gonna have to straight take us out and show us around and
they will. And
it's
they will.
some of this.
They are. I told them they need to come up with their own series. It's been amazing talking to you guys tonight.
Yes. Yes,
If there are any
indeed.
more questions in the chat, or if we missed them, we apologize. We're going to bring this conversation to a close. I hate to go. Again, these are my family right here. This is my cousins, Steve and Destiny, and their daughter, Maya. They've talked to us this evening about life in Belize. T-Will be bringing you a series of Belize and expat life, and also what it's like to purchase and own property in Belize. And we'll bring on a real estate agent. We'll also bring on someone, Calvin said Curry. We'll bring
That's my man, Kel.
to bring on more people to kind of talk about what that expat life might look like. So I'm going to kick it over to T-Will. I want to thank my family for showing up. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I love you. And T-Will, take it away.
Man, we really appreciate y'all for coming on and just taking out y'all time to get on the show and share your thoughts with us. We just want to go out with any parting thoughts. I would say I want well, no, I'm gonna let the lady go. I'm gonna let you go first, Angie. Then we're gonna kick it to my man G, and then or we can go Angie, and then we can kick it.
Let's do ladies, and then I'll wrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
All right. So let me kick the parting thoughts off to our guests. For someone that wants to move to Belize, what is the number one thing that they need to have in their mind? What is the number one things collectively you guys can tell us that would help someone wanting to make this decision?
Come visit.
Yeah, come visit first. And because everybody has that dream of living in paradise, but then they get there and then they realize it may not be what they wanted it to be. So come visit, check out a couple of different locations first to see, because you may think you want the quiet, laid back part, where we live, only to find that no, you want to end up a little bit more island type life and end up in Ambergris Key. So definitely come visit and check out the different spots before you go and say, this is where I'm going to stay. Okay. And then
that's a good point. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As I say, and then check that American mentality at the door, just realize and don't try to make the country you left.
Ooh.
Man, please say that one more time. What they say?
Say that louder so we can hear that.
Like I said, just leave it there.
That's good.
Don't try to make it the country you left.
Yeah.
Okay, my parting thoughts are exact. She just closed. She said it for me. Don't be afraid to take the leap. Steve said, come visit, and leave everything that you had there. I'll come with an open mind, and and understand that Akon said it best. He said that he does his business in America, but he chooses to live somewhere else. And so it is okay to still make your money in the U.S. and still have a home that is filled with love and paradise and everything that you want every day. You can wake up when you want to, swim when you want to, and make time for your family. Our time is short. Our time is so short. And so checking into someone's clock every day is not the way that we should be living our lives. So, let's also make your money, but they're doing it young. They run into mostly older people in Belize. This is a young family that is doing it. They're making a way. They're saving their money. You might not need an extra pair of shoes. You might need to save that money for a rainy day. And so in order to continue to learn how to build your money, build your credit, tune in to Educate and Motivate's Path to 800 Credit Score. This is going to teach you how to make your credit work for you so that you can make that opportunity and take that opportunity to live in another country. So that's what I had to say. I'm going to kick it over to T-Wheel. All right, I'll kick it over to Flex.
So I'll just piggyback off of what you just stated. With the road to 800 credit score, a lot of what we talked about is mindsets. And Lady Bug, you alluded to a lot of this. Is we have to change our mindset and just, consider that there's I'm not going to say a better way, a different way. And if you want different, you got to do something different. So I like what Destiny said earlier about just a few moments ago about visiting and checking the area out. And that's important because as I'm listening to y'all describe the area, I grew up in a small town, country area, East Texas.
Texarkana.
Texarkana. She named it Texarkana. But now I love the uptown feel, the ritzy restaurants and just strolling down the path and window shopping. I love that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying that I'm opposed to Belize, but I'm like, man, maybe if they got a place like that, maybe that's the part of the city I would go to. So appreciate you all. And I want to ask Maya to give us a parting thought before we pass the T-Wheel.
Yes. Moving to Belize.
You want to tell our audience something about your experience there before we go?
Tell us what they need to bring with them if they decide to come.
She said, make sure you get the right house. What do you mean by that?
Oh, that's right up T-Wheel alley.
That's right. Hey, see,
God makes no mistakes. That's right up
Boy.
T-Wheel alley.
young entrepreneur in the
When we
making.
first got
Yeah.
Go ahead. What did she say?
She said when we first moved here, the first place we were staying was a little too crammed for us. And so it made us all miserable. And then, so we moved to a better place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're happy again.
Hey,
All right.
And it
know-
made the dog miserable. He would sweat and he would be panting.
Yeah. But that's why you check out your areas before you commit.
Yeah.
There you go.
come visit first. Well, I like to end it with my triple L's: live, learn, and love. And the greatest of all those is love, y'all. So, that's my point thoughts. Y'all just make sure everyone just make sure y'all just keep an open mind about anything. You know what I'm saying? Because like Angie said, life is short, man, and we're really here for a very small amount of time. So enjoy your life, get out and see different things, network with different people, and just live your life. You know what I mean? So again, we like to thank you, Steve and Destiny, for coming on, because y'all could have been anywhere, but tonight y'all was on the NM, and we appreciate that.
Thank you for having
Thanks for
us.
having us.
Love you guys.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Bye,
So
y'all.
we're gonna take it out. Flex, take us out, man.
They the Ross new podcast, who want the smoke? Coming raw and uncut like who want this dope? Whatever you want, they for sure to cover the topic. Permission to flies the cockpit. Y'all ain't never get it like this, cause they ain't never did it like this. We on on now. Just the way the cookie crumbles for y'all. She gon' bring the inspiration to all. You know what's up with her. And this shit manifesting is a vision. And y'all gon' love TJ cause he the realest. From the heart of a mom, they the start of it all. You looking for a high learning, holla at your rod. The professor, nothing less coming at you with the lessons. Get your edge if you knowin' what's good for you. They educated, but they still keep it hood for you. Don't need another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, the flow is yours. Yeah, baby, I made it. If it come down to the flow is yours. Let me show you how to the flow is yours. 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 The flow is yours.
Big ups and thank you to the culture.
Right on. We're gonna have to get